last night, and I want to make sure you see what happened. It was Jimmy Butler and the Heat taking on Jason Tatum, and the Celtics pick it up on the fourth, tied at 85. Jaylen Brown. Take a look at him going, oh, he goes the reverse, up and good. Brown had 28 points, 10 boards, Celtics up by 2. We're still in the fourth now, down 5 are the Heat. Kyle Lowry. 6 threes on the night for Lowry, 23 points, Heat within 2, under 6 to go. Heat are down 1. Butler, Lowry, Butler, Jimmy buckets, up and good. He had 24. Miami takes the lead, and Butler was just getting going. We're still in the fourth quarter here. 4 minutes and change to play. Butler, the mid-range. Miami by 4, under 2 minutes to go. Heat are up by 4. Jaylen Brown, they need a bucket. He's inside, and look at the defense from Max Strus. Blocked, and now we're going the other way. Tyler's the hero. Jimmy Butler ahead of the pack. Miami wins 106-98, extending the lead to 2 games on the Celtics in the Eastern Conference. And once again, the top of this conference is unlike anything we've ever seen in NBA history. The one thing that does change drastically after last night, our analytics now have the Heat, not the Celtics, as the favorites to earn the 1 seed in the conference. And my basketball committee today is the great Vince Carter and the equally great Brian Windhorst with us here. You know, VC, I'm old enough to remember, because it was only Monday, when we were basically saying, oh, Boston is the best team in the East now, they're going to the finals, et cetera, et cetera. After Miami has a really good week, what do we say about the top of the Eastern Conference today?
I still think you can't forget about the Milwaukee Bucks, who are just flying under the radar, playing great basketball. Giannis is playing at an MVP level as well, and they have everybody hitting on all cylinders. So, it's going to shuffle, in my opinion, every week leading into, I think the Bucks have 7 games left. It's going to shuffle every day, every week until this is over with, because all these teams are playing great basketball at the right time. Look at the Miami Heat. We were questioning whether the Miami Heat would stay up in the top 4 seed because of how they were playing and all of the blow-ups that they've had internally. Well, they come on the road and play a great defensive game against a very good and hot Boston Celtics. So it's going to change. But right now, the Milwaukee Bucks are playing the best basketball and can finish and make it to the finals.
So the one thing that has been consistent is everyone I've had in here all week long, Wendy, including you, have picked Milwaukee as the team in the East. Fair enough. We'll see how it plays out. In the meantime, let's talk about Miami, because they did have that blow up recently, and I know you did some work on that. What can you tell us about this good bounce back week in Miami?
Yeah, obviously this is probably the biggest win of the season for Miami, and that victory could be the difference between getting the 1 seed and not, and it also could be the difference between drawing Brooklyn in that first round and not. But when the Heat had that blow up last week, that was not just shake it off and move on. They had to really address that internally. Jimmy Butler had meetings with Eric Spoelstra, had meetings with Pat Riley, and it took a few days for everybody to get back on the same page. There was still animus coming out of this. Over the last couple of years, Greeny, Jimmy and Spoelstra have gone up to the line. This was pushing the breaking point. So they have stepped back, they have refocused, and they've got this big, big victory. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't think the Celtics, while they weren't happy to lose that game, I'm not sure they were crying this morning, because as they look at this and they know they're not going to have Robert Williams back till the second round, I don't think they got a huge problem if they're in the 3 seed and they know they don't have to face Brooklyn in the second round. Or the first round. They might have an easier first round series after losing this game last night.
Let's make it clear what he's talking about. The Nets are going to wind up in the play-in tournament because of the uneasy nature that has been, or uneven nature that has been their regular season. That's the team no one wants to play, right? Vince, up at the top, none of the big teams in the Eastern Conference want to see Brooklyn in round 1.
Well, Greeny, I'll say this. I don't think they're afraid of them, but this is a team, Brooklyn, that you don't want to face as well, because they have so many scores. They have guys that have won championship that understand how to get the job done. So, yeah, I will say naturally you don't want to play a team like the Brooklyn Nets, because they can get hot and get rolling at the right time. But I don't think those top 4 teams are afraid of them. But you don't want to see them because of all of the talent and what they could have. Can they get it together to be a dynamic team and make a run? The Nets, that is. We still have to see.
Wendy, you know what I think. I think they should be afraid of them. Be very afraid of the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, well, we got a big game tonight in Brooklyn. Milwaukee is going to test to see how they're doing. They've won 11 of 14. I don't think Milwaukee is afraid of anybody, but I will say You're not going to get the 2 or 1 seed and be happy to see Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. I don't care what anybody says. It may not be fair, but you ain't choosing it.
And in the meantime, there is a little game coming up on Saturday night that Vince Carter might have some interest in. Carolina's playing Duke. I'm not sure if word of that has reached you yet, VC. But I'm going to get Jay
You say
Williams.
something?
I'm going to get Jay Williams.
I just so happen to have my hat right here, Greeny. I'm sorry.
I'm going to get Jay Will in here a little later in this hour. We'll put him and Vince on together.
With 8:07 remaining in that frame, he made 6 of 9 3-pointers for the game. Here's PG with our Malika Andrews.
You guys have been the comeback kings with and without you on the floor this season. Now that you're back, now that you're healthy, and you're looking at the playoff picture, how do you see this season shaking out for you all?
We just got to get one of these spots. Finish this year off. Like I said, I challenged the guys to start shaping into a playoff team. We got to do that now, opposed to getting to the play-in game, and now we're trying to pull it together and be a playoff team. It starts now. We got to start building and getting some chemistry going, some consistency going, and then from there we can do just about anything. We've had a great playoff run last year. I think we're a better team this year, and so anything can happen. We just got to lock in one of these spots.
First of all, great to see PG back. Do you think that he and the Clippers could give the Suns or Grizzlies a series?
Hell no. No, I don't. I think Phoenix and Memphis are exponentially, and obviously I think Golden State could be in that conversation depending upon the health of Steph and Draymond in the back and how Clay coming up missing 2 years of playing the game of basketball. I still think they're a year away from being back to where they were. But I think Phoenix and Memphis are by far the 2 best teams in the Western Conference. And I love Paul George. Now, if you're telling me Paul George and Kawhi Leonard were coming back, I might have to take a second and pause, Molly. You know what I mean, Wendy?
Of course.
Those 2 players combined with Terrence Mann, Reggie Jackson, Zubac, the way they defend, Ty Lue as a coach. But I don't see Paul George being enough to get them over the hump with the way. Have you seen Memphis defend? I know we talk a lot about what Memphis' record is without Ja, which is 18-2. But with Ja Morant healthy, they are dogs. Have you seen the basketball gods may have gifted Chris Paul, the point guard, the best gift of all time. Even better odds than what they were last year with win a championship this year. So I watch both those teams. They are by far the best teams in Western Conference. Clippers are good. They're fine. I can see them maybe get to the Western Conference semis. But I don't see them going above that.
First off, extremely impressive performance from Paul George to not play for 40 games.
Yeah.
Come back and score 34. And by the way, just rip open a wound on the Jazz last night. The Jazz
did it last year, right?
Yeah,
Game 6.
25. The Jazz were up 25 in this game. Paul George he led the Clippers back. So the Clippers have not been playing well. They actually just came off their worst 10-game stretch of the season. Getting Paul back was vital for them. They're not playing their best basketball right now. I know that the playoffs aren't today, but I can't look at the way they're playing and say, oh, yeah, I see a team that shows